So it turns out I've annihilated some video games in 2025, and I thought I would come in today and talk about my favorite games of 2025 so far in late August here. Yes, it's going to be like 103 degrees later today, so I thought I would just get out of the studio, get outside, enjoy some fresh air, and talk about the games that I've annihilated this year. And I'm talking, there's some that I've 100%ed. I did everything in the game. Massive open world games. I can't believe that I put that much time into certain games, but I did. So hey everyone, if you're new to the channel, my name is Clayton. I'm a father of 3. I have a normal day job, but I love video games on the side, and I love to be able to come in and talk about it as a hobby of mine to take my mind off this crazy world. So welcome in, buckle up. I want to start back in December and January. Now I know this could be a little controversial to say that my first favorite game of 2025 that I destroyed, absolutely loved every bit of it. It came out in late December and it was too late for the Game Awards, which was a real shame. And that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
You're damn right I do.
So in many ways, I believe that this should be considered for the Game Awards this year, you know, Game of the Year. I know, who cares about the Game Awards, the Jeff Keighley Game Awards, whatever. Anyway, but I have to say, this game deserves all of the accolades, and I hate that it got buried kind of at the last minute right before Christmas. Now my son just beat the game the other day, and I beat it back in January of this year and absolutely loved it. The voice acting, first of all, from Todd Howard, who plays, you know, Harrison Ford's version of Indiana Jones, is to me nearly indistinguishable from listening to Harrison Ford.
Go ahead. I'll knock your teeth out.
So right away, the immersion is there. And I have to say, from a story perspective, this game to me is as good as any of the movies and might sit for me right after Raiders of the Lost Ark as my favorite movie of all time, my favorite Indiana Jones movie of all time. I think that The Great Circle, from a story perspective, sits second to that. Yeah, even maybe more so than like The Last Crusade, which is my next favorite, and then, you know, Temple of Doom after that, and then let's not even talk about the other films. But oh my gosh, just that first-person perspective. At first, when I saw the trailers for this, I thought, no, I want to see him, right? I want to see third person. I want to see Indiana Jones. But the fact that you are in a first-person position where you can use different items and punch people, and you get that beautiful clapping sound of punching someone right in the face, just like the sound design in the Indiana Jones movies, is just fantastic. So they made the right decision. And then when you're swinging, using your rope, doing other things, cutscenes, you get to see Indy, right? Climbing up a wall, you get to see Indy. But when you're navigating, it's you. You are Indiana Jones. And I'm glad they decided to do that instead of the Uncharted third-person vibe. I love Uncharted, but this absolutely worked for me. You get to be Indy. You get to go through the catacombs of Rome. You get to explore all of these things. And the story has such a major twist at the end that, again, I think this is as good as any of the Indiana Jones films. It's that good. And you know what I also loved? They let Indiana Jones be a man. They let Indy be the one to, in many ways, rescue the girl. He gets to be sarcastic. He gets to be flippant. Sure, she helps from time to time, Gina in the game, but he is the one that solves it. He is the one that rescues the girl. He is the one that does these things throughout the game. And yeah, like I said, there are moments where she helps out, and so, you know, she's a good partner in this. So he's not just talking to himself the whole game. So I like the addition of Gina in the game, to be honest with you. But I thought, like, this is a masculine game. Totally unlike that most recent Indiana Jones movie where he is totally impotent. Harrison Ford is like a drunk old man who can't figure anything out, and then even when he does figure out one major plot point of the movie, that stupid woman has to swoop in and steal the thunder from him. And then his lifelong dream, you know, at the end of that movie, she like slaps him in the face and loads him in an airplane, and like, how emasculating was that film? Just awful. So anyway, highly recommend Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Really might still be my game of the year so far, from an exploration perspective, combat perspective, story perspective, art design, sound design, voice acting, absolutely love this game.
Sorry, pal, you kind of deserved it.
All right, the next game of 2025 that I played wasn't until May of this year, and that was Monster Hunter Wilds. And I should say that because I have such a big backlog of retro games that I never got a chance to play, I had that 15-year gap in my gaming experience. I played a lot of retro games this year as well, which I'll talk about at the end of the year. I'm going to do a big year-end roundup of all the games I destroyed this year. But the next 2025 release was Monster Hunter Wilds for me. And this is the first Monster Hunter game I ever played. I bought it on day one and thought, you know what, I'm gonna jump into this. I wanna see how it plays on the PS5 Pro. I know it had all sorts of issues on the PC. So that's where I played it, on the PS5 Pro. And at first, and I did a whole deep dive review of this, by the way, but at first I was a little taken aback by the HUD and oh my God, the menu systems and all of that was a little overwhelming. But the idea with this game is that, if you're a newbie to the Monster Hunter series, this would be a perfect place to jump in. And I thought, okay, I know there was some criticism from longtime Monster Hunter fans that it might have been a little too accessible, but I'm here to tell you that I beat the main part of the game, credits rolled, and that's when the game actually started. No joke. Like, the actual game started after the credits rolled. And that's actually when I really started to understand the menu system. I know, I mean, I knew a lot of it, but there was so much I just didn't understand and didn't tap into properly or didn't take advantage of. And then I became obsessed. I became obsessed with this game to the point where I 100% completed this game. I did every possible side mission and had an absolute blast. Fighting monsters, going on these quest lines. Some of these monsters were just incredible to look at, and to build out your armor sets based on those monsters and, you know, get different shields and armor and helmets and everything else based on the monsters that you're defeating. Like, whoa, so cool. And I know so many of you are like, oh my God, really? You're just playing a Monster Hunter game for the first time? We've all known this for many, many years. Yeah, I get it. I never played it. I put easily over 100 hours into this game when all was said and done, and it really opened up the world of Monster Hunter for me. I just loved looking at these monsters, talking to the different villagers, building out my armor sets, and figuring out how to, you know, interact with, you know, other people who are playing online with me as well to be able to help in battles, which was really cool. Shooting up an SOS flare when you're a little bit in trouble and you're battling some big monster and you just want some help, and suddenly 3 other individuals jump in and start helping you. It was really, really cool, and just had a blast. The monster designs are so incredible to look at and just awe-inspiring, you know, when you're looking up at the size of some of these monsters and all of their different abilities. Really, really great stuff. Gosh, it is so hot. Holy smokes. It's already so hot. I'm gonna take refuge under this tree. Whew. High atop these mountains and talk about the other games that I beat in 2025. Oh, that's better. Yeah, it's like already like over 100 degrees, so I was just taking a short walk. My gosh, I'm just gonna hang out underneath this tree for a little bit here with my dog and talk about it. There's 2 more games I wanted to talk about here. So beautiful, no humidity, hot as sin, beautiful afternoon. So, all right, next up is a game that it's not new for 2025, but in many ways, it was, first of all, it was new for me, and it was just released on the Nintendo Switch 2. So in many ways, yeah, this is a new release. It was Cyberpunk 2077, the definitive edition, included with the Phantom Liberty DLC, fully on the game cartridge on the Nintendo Switch 2. And like I said, again, not a new game. We know that. But for me, it was. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot here on the Switch 2 to play it in portable mode. Plus, I wanted to support CD Projekt Red for releasing the full game on a 64 gigabyte cartridge. I've done a whole deep dive discussion about Cyberpunk. You can watch that review if you want and how it plays on the Switch 2. And many of you did. I think it's got like 45,000 people have seen it, so that's great. But I just want to say I loved this game. I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know anything about the Cyberpunk world, just that it was this like dystopic future. And I have to say, in a world right now where we're dealing with like dystopic future, you know, it's like, do I want to go into that world? And it turns out it was a totally different world, and it was pure escapism for me to be in the Cyberpunk world. I loved the storyline. I loved the Phantom Liberty DLC story with Idris Elba, and that whole storyline was fantastic.
Apologies for the precautions.
I loved just the immersive world, being able to go into random little nightclubs and go get some noodles, go get sushi, talk to all of these interesting people. Like, what's your story? What's your past? Why are you here? Why are you in this city? The city seems like overrun with crime, yet there's like a charm to it. And people are like, I'm never leaving this city. I love it. Yeah, it's gritty, it's tough, but I love it. And so it's kind of got that like Gotham City feeling to it. But the combat is excellent. The guns, oh, I loved, you know, finding all these different guns and weapons to load out. I went with the Nomad character build. You know, to me, this is like replayability of this game, to be able to go back and play the other characters. You know, you could go the corporate route as well if you want. But I decided to go with the Nomad because I just thought, like, yeah, that's what I want here. I want to be a bit of a nomad. I don't have a structure. I don't know what I'm doing, so how can I choose something else at this point? But really loved it, and it just plays beautifully on the Switch too. I had like one or two little hiccups, and that's about it. Again, watch my full video of that if you want to see more about that, where I go a deep dive. Just to be able to take it portably and play it for 2 hours. Yes, it does suck down the battery on the Switch too, because it's a powerful game. But you know, playing it on an airplane flight and then putting it in the dock was a great experience. So, you know, people are like, why didn't you just get it on the, you know, on a PC or Steam Deck and all of that? And I said, you know, I want to be able to play that docked experience and the seamless experience on the Switch too. And I'm just not a fan of docking the Steam Deck. It's still not a good experience overall. Like, it's still fiddly and whatever. So yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, the definitive edition on the Switch 2. It's one of the only few physical games that I own on the Switch 2 at this point, because the full game is on the cartridge. All right, I've got one more game to talk about. And by the way, I just want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. Really appreciate that. We're getting closer and closer and closer to 100,000 subscribers. Like-minded people like yourself who just love talking about video games, and it's a great way to escape this world, isn't it? And take a little time out to talk about one of our hobbies. So thank you for subscribing. So my final game of 2025, like a game that was launched in 2025, a new game that I completely destroyed, is Donkey Kong Bonanza for the Switch 2. And boy, I'm sure many of you have played this game or thought about playing it or read reviews about it or heard of reviews about it. I didn't do a full deep dive review. I kind of did my first thoughts, but man, this game was incredible. I'm just stunned by it. And you know, I loved Mario Odyssey. Great game. I actually want to go back and play it again because I played it with my son. It was the first video game that he ever beat way back in 2017, 2018 or whatever, when the game came out. So it's been many, many years. I want to go back and replay it before we get a new 3D Super Mario game. But it's everything I loved about Mario Odyssey times 5. And yes, of course, it's the team that built Mario Odyssey that built this game. But the smashing, I mean, I spent like the first hour and a half of the game just smashing through as much ground as I possibly could. And I know there are people who, they've become so obsessed with just the smashing mechanic that they haven't even really advanced in the game at all, because they just have so much fun smashing things. And I had to pull myself back from that a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna beat this game if all I'm doing is smashing rocks. That's all I'm doing and digging. Because you can find treasure chests, you can find hidden fossils, you can, find all sorts of gold coins that you use, of course, to buy things at different shops later on. And yes, of course, bananas, which is what you're in search of to find all of these bananas. I think when all was said and done, I ended up with like 370 something bananas. And I think there are like over 500 of them. So I beat the game and I did quite a few of the side quests to get as many bananas as I could, and fossils and other things, but I did not 100% this game, which I don't even know how you would. Like, to be a completionist with this game would mean every coin, every treasure chest, every fossil, every banana, and then once you beat the game, there's a whole new game plus with like 3 additional big quest lines, and I did 2 of those even after I beat the game. And the end of this game is incredible. Like, whoa. Like, okay, it's so good. And I didn't see it coming, and I was really surprised by it. And if you've seen other reviews, people are all talking about how great the end of this game is. So just know if you're like kind of halfway, like, yeah, maybe I won't finish it. I'm kind of, no. You have to finish this game. It's that good. It's really a great game. So this to me is the first real Switch 2 game, Donkey Kong Bonanza. And if Nintendo does more of these games for the Switch 2, then they're gonna hit a home run here. But way to come out of the gate with an incredible game. And now we're waiting for Nintendo to give us release dates for Metroid Prime 4. We got Drag X Drive, which no one wants to play. Like, who has dreamt of playing a video game where you're handicapped, like you're in a wheelchair? And by the way, who's this game for, by the way? Like, do handicapped people who are handicapped, who have to deal with being in a wheelchair, want to also play a video game where they're in a wheelchair? Maybe, but I don't think so. To me, if I was in a wheelchair, I'm just speaking for me personally, like if I was in a wheelchair and I didn't have the ability to walk, I'd want to play Spider-Man, you know, or I'd want to play Batman. I don't know. A Drag X Drive, I mean, it's already kind of been a turd, you know, $20 game on the eShop. It should have been free in my opinion. But so Nintendo, you've got we got Donkey Kong, great game. We need to see more now. Like, what else do you have planned for the Switch 2? I hope it's as good as Donkey Kong Bonanza. So anyways, guys, I've annihilated a bunch of games this year, a bunch of retro games, which I'll talk about at the end of the year. And just had a blast kind of going back through that catalog and really trying to figure out some of the games I should start playing for the first time that are 10 years old, I guess. But, you know, hey, here we are in August of 2025 and completed a bunch of good games that have come out in 2025. So, you know, I didn't get to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33 yet. I have not played, what's another big one that just came out that I didn't get a chance to play yet? Death Stranding 2, because I didn't get to play Death Stranding 1 yet. I definitely want to play Ninja Gaiden as well, Ragebound, and I'm definitely looking forward to Metal Gear Solid, the new Metal Gear Solid Remake 3, Delta, Metroid Prime 4. Those are the big games I'm looking forward to at the end of this year. So let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know what games you beat in 2025. I need to go get some air conditioning. Holy smokes, it's hot as sin. As the dog days of summer wind down here at the end. Thanks guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for climbing the mountain with me today, and we'll see you next time.